Hey, it's time for a Pixel Cherry Ninja video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and I'm excited to do this video because I kind of stated to you guys that I was kind of busy this month and I'll do a video if I consider something to be big, and this is big. This potentially could be the future of FPGA gaming, the next evolution. This could become the norm. Well, it could be. There are various other possibilities, but let's have a look at what Taki Udon has said on Twitter earlier. Now, if you're unaware who Taki Udon is an individual. He's a YouTuber and he's got a company called Retro Remake. This company made an alternative or a clone, whatever you want to call it. I've heard it both ways, of the DE10 Nano. The DE10 Nano is the FPGA board that is used in the MiSTer FPGA project. Now, Tarasic, the manufacturer of the original board, they sell it for $225. Well, Taki Udon came and delivered it for $99. In fact, I think at one point it was like $95 with a coupon code. So we're talking less than half the price. So when Taki goes on Twitter and talks about creating an alternative to a more powerful FPGA board, well, you kind of listen. The reason I've got Crazy Taxi on screen, hey man, it's a great arcade game, and this is on the Dreamcast and it's also on the Naomi hardware. Maybe stuff like this will be a possibility. So let's bring up the tweets from Taki. So the first one here, Taki here says, today I had a good meeting with our Altera partner. I've decided that we will create Agilex 5 engineering boards in a modified MiSTer Pi form factor to seed to developers. I am considering adding a condition that the hardware becomes open hardware after a set time. Well, that's always good to hear. And a kind of follow-up tweet, or tweet number 2 in the series, i.e. 1 year or as a guarantee if we can no longer produce the boards, depending on the parts we pick, either 138 logic elements ranging all the way up to 656,000 logic elements. That's massive, and expect the pricing to be 1.5 to 3 times the amount of a MiSTer Pi. So let's say a MiSTer Pi is 100. So 1.5 will be 150, and the price ceiling is expected to be at maximum 3 times the cost, 300. What we're going to go and do now, let me remove these tweets off. Let's just kind of go over and have a look at MiSTer and have a look at all the different Agilex 5 boards that are available. Now, we're not going to deep dive into these boards, but what we're going to be focusing on is the pricing. If I go down, we've got one, and I think all the prices are ex-VAT, so add tax to that. For the UK, it's 20%. So then we've got one for 632, that's the cheapest so far, 759, 723, 885, 827, 708, 590, that's the cheapest, right? 868, 744, 620, 602. So I think 590 being the cheapest one. So I guess that's the potentially the 138K model, and the higher the price, the more logic elements you get. So this is going to be really interesting. There's also another project, an awesome project, the Replay 2. I speak to the guys. They've been working with the Agilex 5 family of boards, and they're working hard on bringing out the Replay 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of comes out first. I know the Replay 2 guys are, they're along, not exactly sure how close to release, but they've been working on this for a long time. They're actually very transparent with everything they do. If you want a link to their Discord and you want to see what they're working on and you want to ask them any questions, I'll leave a link to it in the description. If I do forget to do it, as I often do, remind me in the comments and I will add a fresh one. But they've been working on that, and this is what Taki Udon is talking about creating now, a cheaper version of the Agilex 5 board. Now, I know the yield rate with the yield rate with Agilex 5 wasn't so high, so it was kind of pushing the price up. But again, this is cutting edge. This is really good tech, because I have heard about this. I've heard about another project, I can't remember what it's called now, but they kind of hinted at using that, but I think they're long gone. But we've got Replay 2, we've potentially got the Taki Udon, the Retro Remake Agilex 5 alternative coming, and this could potentially form the way of future MiSTer FPGA, or the future of MiSTer FPGA, potentially a MiSTer 2 or a completely different project. Now, another thing I have to say, let's bring up a little bit more eye candy. So what we're going to do, let's get rid of Crazy Taxi, let's get rid of this window, and a big shout out to my buddy, The Price of Reason, because I tweeted earlier and he was like, oh, hopefully I can get some Hyper Neo Geo 64. And I thought, you know what, that is a little bit of good eye candy to have. So maybe we can get advanced cores like this. So the future is definitely going to be very, very interesting. What's cool as well is when Taki Udon worked on the MiSTer FPGA, he made contributions to Sorge, the main person behind the MiSTer. Now, again, this is just speculation. Who knows if he's consulting Sorge and other, top FPGA core developers, because yeah, maybe that's a possibility. Maybe other people are going to be involved, and maybe this could potentially be an evolution to the MiSTer project, if not a project in and of itself. As long as it gets developer support and people are willing to develop for it, honestly, the possibilities are almost endless. Like even with the MiSTer, the stage we're at now, I know people are like, okay, the MiSTer's kind of reached this ceiling recently with like the Saturn core, the N64, the PlayStation. Now SRG 320 announced that he's going to be working on, or he is working on a 3DO core. He was doing that in his spare time. Absolutely crazy. But as well as that, guys, we have so many arcade games. I love arcade games. So there's so many arcade games that can fit on the MiSTer, but there are likely so many that can't. Potentially the Hyper Neo Geo 64. It may not be able to fit a lot of the Naomi stuff, a lot of the advanced hardware, like some of the PlayStation based hardware, and dare I say some of like the hardware that's closer to the PlayStation 2. Now, this might be the ceiling. This might be the highest point we want for FPGA gaming, because for me, like the later kind of generations, especially where they kind of went into HD consoles, I don't feel FPGAs are necessary for that. Software emulation does a really, really good job, but everything that FPGA can be good for might be really, really awesome. So with Taki coming out with these tweets, I mean, he's done a good job with the MiSTer Pi. I think I was the first person, apart from Taki, to get a MiSTer Pi. So the first person to kind of do tests on that. And guys, the test was solid. I've got videos on my channel where it ran side by side. So hopefully Taki can deliver an Agilex 5 alternative board on par with the DE10 Nano alternative board. Now, I know with Taki, he's working on multiple projects. I don't really pay attention to like the Switch screen side, not really interested, but I do pay attention to the FPGA stuff. Now, I know he's had some development issues or some development delays where suppliers haven't been delivering on time, and obviously that's led to delays. I know he's working diligently to get all that resolved and get all those orders out there. So it'll be interesting once that's done and we move over to the next evolution of FPGA gaming. But guys, this is super exciting, really, really exciting for me. I'd love like more arcade games. I'd love Dreamcast. I love like the Naomi stuff. So just wanted to get this video out there because it was an exciting tweet, really, really was. So share your thoughts about this. Let me know what you think. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this? What cores would you like to see? What systems would you like to see? Maybe I'm not mentioning other systems. Some guys might be, oh, it can do more powerful computers because the FPGA will be possible. And also, what Agilex 5 board do you think he's going to go for? I mean, they range from like a 138K to 656, and the price will be 1.5, or let's say $150 to $300. But that's really it, guys. Be like super duper awesome to one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.